What's up everyone, my name is Marie, welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video, I'm back in the world of Tomarang, which is actually the world that came with the newest expansion pack, the For Rent expansion pack. And I actually haven't built in Tomarang ever since the pack came out for some reason. I don't know why, because I really like this world. I think it's really pretty. And I had the urge to just like sit down, explore this world a little bit more and actually build something here. So that is what I'm doing. And I'm building here on this 20 by 20 lot in Tomarang. I believe it's a 20 by 20. It's a square one and it's kind of small. I think by default there is a bar or a lounge on this lot. I think it's a community lot. I think it's a bar. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, that one's really cute, but I decided to just bulldoze that and build something here myself. And I'm working on a very small modern apartment building. It kind of looks like a house. Like, it's not like your classic apartment building, kind of like a symmetrical kind of thing, but it basically kind of looks like a house, but it's two apartments in one, and they're really small. If you wanted to like convert this into a family home, I feel like you could very easily do that. But yeah, I turned this into two very small apartments. We have an apartment on the ground floor and we have an apartment on both the ground floor that has a staircase going up to the second floor. So that one is a 2-story apartment, and I really like that one. It's pretty spacious. That's a 2-bedroom one that I furnished for 2 parents and an infant. And it has the kitchen on the ground floor and like an entry hallway space. And then it has a staircase going up to the living room, bathroom, and 2 bedrooms. So I actually really like the layout of the second one the most. I like the layout of the first one too. It's just a lot smaller. That one's only 1 bedroom. And they each just have 1 bathroom. So they're really small in that sense. But yeah, for the second one that we're going to be furnishing, the larger one, you could have a small family there, a family of 3 Sims, or maybe a small family of 2 Sims. That is most definitely also possible. Just a single parent and a kid. Or, I mean, you could turn the second bedroom into a shared room, but really you could do that with like bunk beds, but it would be really, really small. So I feel like that wouldn't really be the best thing to do, but I mean, you could go ahead and do that, of course. The Sims really don't mind. And then these 2 modern apartments each, or not each, they have a shared backyard space. So I thought that would be really fun for like neighbor hangouts. They could just kind of hang out in the yard together and have dinner parties, grill some food, like that sort of thing. So I thought that would be really, really cute. And overall, I was just really playing around with the shape of this. I didn't have an inspiration photo or anything for this. I just wanted to sit down and build something modern. And I was set on using a lot of Snowy Escape for like doors and windows and things, because I feel like Snowy Escape matches so nicely with the For Rent expansion pack build items. And just with the world in general as well. So that's what I decided to do. You can see that I'm using a lot of doors, like sliding doors and stuff from that pack already. And then I'll be using windows from that pack as well. And for exterior wallpapers, I decided to use that very smooth looking stucco, which is from the For Rent expansion pack. And I use it in this really soft, it's almost like a pink color, like a beigey pink, really soft tone, and I think it's so pretty. And then I combined it with a brick from high school years in light gray, and I thought that was such a pretty combination of both colors but also textures. I just thought it looked really, really nice. So that's what I did, and then I used a lot of light wood to go with that for the doors and windows and things. And we also have some like white elements here and there, but really it's just like gray, this soft beige, and then a lot of lighter wood tones. And I feel like it's just such a pretty color combination. I really like how this build came out shape-wise and floor plan wise too. I don't know why, but this one just came together really, really nicely. I think I was just in the mood to sit down and build something smaller, because prior to this one, I was working on a really big house. I uploaded that speed build a little bit ago. A really big mansion, like a royal family estate in Windenburg, and that was so big and overwhelming that I was really in the mood to just sit down and build something smaller, something, I really wanted to sit down and build smaller apartments, because I'm still very much in love with building unit lots. It is something that obviously came with the For Rent expansion pack, and I just think it's so much fun to do. So I wanted to sit down and do that. And yeah, I don't know, this one kind of came together pretty easily and naturally, and I just really, really like how this one came out. But yeah, speaking of Tomarang, I kind of forget, weirdly enough, I kind of forget that this world exists because I feel like it's very easy to miss in the world's overview in the menu of the game, because Tomarang is on the bottom row all by itself, and you have to kind of like scroll down to see it. And for that reason, like, because you don't see it at first glance, it's so sad, but I just kind of forget that it's there. Let me know if you have that same issue. Like, it definitely keeps happening for me. It just doesn't come to mind because I literally forget it exists, and it's so sad because it's such a pretty world and I want to do more builds here. So yeah, I really have to try and remember and just do more builds here as well. And speaking of the For Rent expansion pack, The Sims actually has a sale going on right now with 10% off For Rent. So The Sims currently has their Lunar New Year sale going on, and I just quickly wanted to mention that I still have my affiliate code available as well. You can use this code, which is Simmary Sims, when you purchase any The Sims 4 DLC on the EA app or on the website. And using that code will contribute a small percentage of your purchase and directly help support me as a creator. So the way it works is that you can just type in the code Simmary Sims at checkout when you purchase any The Sims 4 DLC on the EA app or on the website. I do want to mention that this is not a discount code. It is simply a way to support me as a creator. Thank you so much to EA for sponsoring this portion of the video. But yeah, you can really see the house come together and the shape of it. And yeah, the windows were giving me a little bit of trouble, and so was the landscaping actually. For some reason, I wasn't sure what to do with the landscaping for this build, and I decided to keep it very simple. Normally, I like to go all lush and overgrown and just have lots of plants and flower patches and just a lot going on. But for this one, I was like, I really want to kind of pretend that this was a newly built building or like a newly built complex. And I don't want to go too overboard with the landscaping. Like, obviously, I wanted it to look kind of lush and kind of blend in with the world because Tomarang is definitely very lush. It has a lot of beautiful just like shrubs and plants and flowers and trees going on. So I definitely wanted it to fit in with that. But also I wanted this entire lot to kind of feel like it was just recently built. So it's obviously not going to be too overgrown from the get-go. It's going to be pretty manicured. And that is something that, that I try to do. You can see here that I'm just placing down some flowers. I use a bunch of the debug flowers and plants. Mostly from the base game, but also definitely a couple things from For Rent itself to really just like blend in and like make the lot tie in seamlessly with the rest of the world. And this lot is actually so cute because it is right by the tiger sanctuary. I think the tiger sanctuary is just across the bridge behind this house. So that's actually pretty cute. I like this area of Tomarang in general because it's not necessarily commercial or downtown, but it's also not super suburban. And that's why I guess I felt like building some apartments here that maybe have a little bit of a city-esque look and feel to them, but not really. But it's like kind of that in between, like in between suburban and city, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of what I was trying to do here. And one thing that I was so happy I found was this bike rack in the debug of For Rent. I knew that it existed, but I haven't had a chance to use it. I have seen other people use that bike rack, but I just kind of keep forgetting it's there. And today I remembered to use it, and I thought it looked so cute because we have this really cute, almost like a driveway area here at the front of the lot. And I decided to just place a little bike rack there and park a few bikes. I thought that was so cute and definitely makes it look very lived in and cozy. And then over here, I am going to get started with the interior for the first apartment. So this is the first one and it's really small. This is the 1-bedroom apartment. And I really like how this one came out. I really tried to keep the color scheme very neutral, definitely very modern. You can kind of like smell the paint in here. I mean, obviously you can't, but just by looking at it, I wanted it to look like just like brand new. And these people just moved in not too long ago. So you can kind of still smell that, like, just that smell of like a new, freshly painted house, you know what I mean? That's kind of the vibe that I was going for in here. And I tried to use very soft colors. I am in love with this rug that I'm using. This is from the Horse Ranch pack, I believe. I think it's from the Horse Ranch pack. Now I'm not exactly sure, but I think it is. And those soft colors, the pink, the coral red, and the orange, and the beigey tones, they were so pretty. And I was looking for a color to kind of use in this space to brighten it up a little bit, make it a little bit more colorful, not too neutral. And I found this rug and it was absolutely perfect. So I'm so happy that I came across that and that I'm using it in here. And I tried to make this like built-in unit by merging these two small dressers from For Rent with this bookcase that is actually from the Moschino stuff pack, and the wood colors match perfectly. So I was able to just place those items basically side by side and make it look like a built-in moment that really just fits against that wall very snuggly. And I had to go with the frame TV, of course, because it's so pretty. It looks like a painting. And it's actually functional as a TV, if you didn't know that. It's a TV that came with the Modern Luxe kit that came out a couple months ago, and it's actually one of my favorite items in the game. Like, it's by far my favorite TV in the game, and it just looks so good, and it was so perfect for this house. And since this house is so small, I didn't really have the space for a proper dining area. However, I was still able to fit in like this small 4-seater table, and I decided to go for a higher table because it somehow felt less cramped. I also tried a lower 4-seater table with just a couple of regular chairs, but it just felt more crammed for whatever reason because it was lower and it just felt like it would be more difficult to kind of like route around it. So I decided to go for a higher table with a couple bar stools. And I feel like it just, it looks really good in the space. And then the green bar stools too just really are a little bit of a moment of color there. And yeah, I don't know, I really like it. And then in this apartment, I played around with platforms a little bit. As you can see, I put the kitchen on a step up platform, which really breaks the space, and I think it just looks better that way. It feels like the kitchen is in its own separate room, but really it's not. It's all one open space, but it's still a little bit more closed off this way, and I placed some columns and spandrels to create that division there, and I think it looks pretty good. And I decided to go for these kitchen counters from the what's it called, Home Chef Hustle stuff pack. I was so excited about these because I feel like they look just really good in a more modern apartment that was recently renovated and or like recently built even. And I just felt like these modern, not too expensive looking counters, but definitely newly put in, just look really good. And over here, I decided to go for some open shelving as well instead of overhead cabinets. I tried that too, but it looked too cramped. I just didn't like the look of it. So I didn't use any overhead cabinets in this entire kitchen, actually. I just have a couple of open shelves by the fridge and the sink there. And then we do have this windowsill that I tried to clutter up a little bit. The lighting looks a little off on those items because the game sees that as outside space. So I just had to tool them into place, and I feel like they still look pretty cute there, except the lighting is a little bit off, but it didn't bother me too much. I still felt like it was worth placing a couple items there. In real life, I feel like you would definitely use the space. If you had a wide like window space like that, you would definitely utilize that and put stuff in it, or like at least some plants or decorations. I mean, I know I would, so probably most of us would. So I decided to do that here as well. And then I just placed a couple curtains, and off of the kitchen here, we have a sliding door to a tiny little porch, a fenced-in balcony almost, except it's on the ground floor, so it's not really a balcony, it's more like a porch, but it's all the way fenced in, and it's really small. You can't really put anything there, but I decided to, I think I eventually placed an outdoor bin there, which actually fit nicely, or I put a flower box. That's also possible, or maybe both. I don't know, but I put something there, and it's really small, but it feels like a useful little space for a small apartment like this. And then in here we have the bedroom, which again is also really small, and you can really tell that I tried to use these items from Snowy Escape to have this entire space feel like it kind of belongs together, and all these furniture items were newly bought when these people moved in here. That's kind of the vibe I was going for. So everything matches nicely, and yeah, this space is really, really small. In the end, I also decided to go for laundry in both these apartments. But I did that for this one. I did that a little bit later because the thought actually came to me as I was furnishing the second unit, because I had the perfect space in the hallway for like a little laundry space. And I was like, okay, if I'm going to do laundry for one of these apartments, I kind of want to do it for both. So I decided to change up the door situation in this tiny hallway. This, like, literally, it's a 4-tile little hallway, I think. It's really small, but I decided to, or maybe it's a 6-tile. I'm not exactly sure. It's really small. But I decided to go for some laundry machines in the hallway. So both these units actually have laundry, which is something you can very easily get rid of course, if that is something you don't enjoy in gameplay. I actually, whenever I do gameplay, I never really use laundry. I always get rid of it because I just can't be bothered. But also, I feel like a lot of people say it's very glitched. I'm not exactly sure if that's still the case, if it's still very buggy. I'm not exactly sure, but I love using laundry machines in my builds because it just looks very realistic. And I really like it feels so homey, you know what I mean? Like when you put laundry machines. So here you can see we are getting started on the second unit, and these people have their front door here, and they have a nice entryway space that I kind of turned into a laundry space. It almost feels like a mudroom, except it's their entryway. So that's what it is there. And oh yeah, here you can see I'm placing some laundry machines here for the first unit as well. So it's really small. I got rid of the bookcase and I put some laundry instead. But it still fits nicely, and I remember to quickly place some temperature controls and also a smoke alarm because I hadn't really done that. That is something I forget a lot, actually. I forget about smoke alarms a lot, which is not a good thing. So if you download any of my builds, I highly encourage you to go through and quickly check if there's a smoke alarm. Sometimes I hide them in the cabinets, so you can't see them, but they're there because I just don't really like how they look. That is one thing I wish we got like an extra version of, is the smoke alarms. We just need something more small and like more minimalistic and modern looking, I feel like. You can size it down and that's fine, but you know, it's not the prettiest item, so I like to hide it in cabinets, which is a little bit problematic because then you don't know it's there. But yeah, anyway, here you can see we have the kitchen, which is on the ground floor for this second unit, and I decided to go for these same counters from the Home Chef Hustle kit, and just in a different color. I think I swapped out the color. This kitchen was giving me a little bit of problems because I just wasn't sure what the best layout would be. I wanted to use this kotatsu table, this low table from Snowy Escape. I thought that was really cute, and I don't use it enough. And in this kitchen here, this is actually pretty spacious, so I really, really wanted to try and give it a go in here, and it actually worked out. Here you can see I skipped ahead a little bit because I was fiddling around with the placement of everything, and it definitely took me a while to figure out the layout for this second unit, but I think it turned out really cute. They definitely have a more spacious kitchen here. They have a couple of counter or island counters here as well with some bar stools. And they have this lower table, and I really, really like the tile that I'm using in here. I'm using the same tile in the first unit, just in a different swatch, but I really like this green and orangey soft color in this tile that I'm using in here, and combined with the soft pink countertops, I feel like it just looks really fun and modern and soft, and definitely a color combination you don't maybe see every day, and maybe it's not everyone's favorite, but I was trying something different in here, something I wouldn't normally really go for, and I don't know, I feel like this actually turned out really cozy in the end. It took me a while to furnish this kitchen, like I said, because I just wasn't sure about the layout, and it was giving me some struggle. But I really like how it ended up in the end. And then here we have a little storage space underneath the staircase. I was going to go for a closed off staircase, but then I was like, I actually really like the opportunity of cluttering up a little area under the stairs for storage. I thought that would make so much sense, and it would feel so realistic in a house like this. in a little apartment where you would basically try to utilize every nook, every cranny for storage. That is something I struggle with in real life in our tiny little apartment where we live, and we basically have no storage space. So you have to really get creative with the space. For example, this office that I'm in, we use it as a closet as well. So this tiny little area where I'm sitting is a really cute office space, but then right next to me there's a wardrobe, and it's just kind of like a closet and office space in one, and it works. Is it ideal? No, but it works, and you gotta be creative with your storage space when you live in a small space. So that's what I was trying here. But yeah, you can see I'm cluttering up the kitchen here a little bit. And I don't know, I really like the layout for this second apartment. It's definitely my favorite. Also, it's because it's a little bit bigger as well. So I have a little bit more like space to work with, basically. But then downstairs, I actually put the TV by the dining table. So I decided to not put a TV up here in the living room. I thought that would be a nice change of pace. I always put TVs in living room spaces. So I was like, you know what, let's not do that today. Let's actually put it downstairs in the dining room space, and then we just won't have a TV here. And they have this beautiful little living room here. It's only very small, but it still somehow feels very spacious. It's probably because they have those open, like sliding doors onto the balcony out front, which is, it kind of feels like an extension of the living room. It's also a covered balcony, so even if it's raining but still like nice and warm outside, you can still sit there and just hang out on your balcony. So that is something that is really nice and useful. But yeah, here I was playing around with some different colors. Again, I really wanted to go for soft neutrals, but then spice it up with some colorful moments here and there, you know? So that's what I tried to do. And of course, a lot of light wood tones as well, but also still feels very warm. Like those wood tones still are pretty warm. So it basically just warms up the space a little bit as well. And I wanted to place a lot of little plants here and really clutter it up that way. And at some point I realized we also have an infant here, and I quickly realized how small the bedroom for the infant was. So I decided to put a little play mat in the living room as well, which doesn't really match the color scheme of the house. But you know, it's realistic. Your kids' toys are gonna mess with the color scheme and the aesthetic of your house. That's just what it is. I felt like that would be pretty realistic. So that's what I just went ahead and did in a little bit here. But yeah, we have a little area here by the staircase where I just placed some clutter. We have that nice end table there from the pastel pop kit. I really like that table in here. I felt like it really matched the space somehow, even though it looks very different from the matchy furniture sets that I'm using in here. But because it's just like a pop of something different, I felt like that really worked. And then one thing I actually didn't place in this living room was a functional bookcase. So I actually put one of those in the infant's bedroom. So there is a functional bookcase because that is a nice, useful item for gameplay. Oh, and then one thing I did, I just want to apologize in advance. I placed a flower or like a plant from Batu on the balcony out front. I'm so sorry. I always try to avoid using anything from the Batu pack because basically no one has that pack. I mean, some people do. I do. I know others have it too, but I know that the majority of us don't have the Batu pack or just really dislike it with a passion. So I always really try to avoid it, but there was that one potted flower that was just so perfect, like color scheme wise. It matched the house so nicely. So I decided to just use it. So yeah, I'm so sorry. I put a little flower, a little plant from Batu on the balcony out front. But I hope that's okay. You can very easily swap that out for something else. Actually, on the subject of Batu, I kind of like that pack in the sense that it definitely has a couple of items that I think are really pretty. It comes with some really good tiles, and it comes with some really cool items if you're building like something grungy or little spoiler alert, I have a grungy motel build coming up at some point in the very near future. And I use an item from Batu in there as well because it was just so perfect. So like for those kinds of things, it is such a good pack. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say about it. I know that a lot of us don't really think highly of it, and I understand, but you know, it has some cute items in there. If you're a builder like me, then definitely worth a shot if it's on sale. That's all I'm gonna say. But here we have a small bathroom upstairs. I know it's not ideal because this bathroom doesn't have a tub, and we do have an infant in this space. Realistically, you would probably just have a tiny little baby bathtub that you can put in the shower, and then you give your toddler or your infant a bath. That doesn't exist in The Sims, so ideally you would want to have a tub, but thankfully you can also bathe toddlers and infants in the sink, which doesn't work as well as giving them an actual bath, but it is functional. It definitely works. So I feel like I could kind of just like get away with it and not put a tub in the space because the bathroom was just too small. I could have done a tub, but then I couldn't have done a shower, and it would be so cramped. And yeah, I just didn't really like the thought of that. So I decided to go for a shower instead. And then, like I said, you can bathe your infant in the sink. And you can obviously also use the changing table and stuff like that. So I guess it kind of works out, but it's not ideal. But then here we have the shared backyard space, which I think is so cute. It's not too fancy or too big or anything, but I wanted to make sure to place some activities there. So we have a nice large dining table. We have a grill for like nice dinner parties. We have a bunch of planters, so your Sims can do some gardening. It's really fun for shared units where when you'll see your neighbors actually doing some gardening out in the back when you have planter pots in the shared space. I think that is such a cute little thing. So I decided to go ahead and do that. We have a couple of lounge chairs as well. So your Sims can just hang out here, and then I just placed some plants and I did some terrain paint, but that's basically it. So let's jump into the game and I'll show you the apartments in real time. So here we have the modern apartments in the game. I feel like they blend in pretty well with the rest of the world. The landscaping is lush, but it's not too much, and I just really like the location of this lot. There's always something about corner lots that I really enjoy because you can do like a little side pathway and stuff, but I really like this space, and the tiger sanctuary is right here as well, which I just think is a really cute little detail. It's just such a cozy street. I like it. But yeah, onto the apartments. Over here, you can see we have a little driveway moment, you could call it, where I parked some bikes. We have the mailbox, and around the side here, we have the backyard, which is a nice shared space. There's not a whole lot going on here, but we have some planter boxes, a grill, a dining table, and some loungers as well. So that is really nice. And then over here, we have the very first unit, which is where my playtester sim, Penny Pizzazz, is hanging out. Of course, she is watching TV. That is what my playtester sims like to do for whatever reason. We have the living room space over here with a nice sectional couch and a TV and a bookcase. And then back here, we have a nice dining table. It's really small, but it is fully functional. I also placed a laptop here, so there is a computer in the house. And then we have the kitchen over here. I used a little platform to section off the space, and I really like the lighting this time of day in the kitchen here. That is really nice. So yeah, they have their kitchen and then their fridge and sink, of course, over here on the other side. And off of the kitchen is this tiny little porch, basically just for the outdoor bin. And then we also have a small planter here. Through this archway, there is a hallway space where I put laundry, and there is a really tiny bedroom over here, of course, as well, which is very neutral in colors, but I really like it. It has everything that your Sims would need. And off of the hallway here, we have the bathroom, which is a nice full-size bathroom with a shower tub combo, very modern, and really suits the space in my opinion. Then moving on to the second unit, they have their front door over here, and you basically enter into this mudroom slash entryway slash laundry space, which I really like. It is something that feels a little bit different and it makes sense for a smaller apartment too. So they have some storage here next to the door, and they have their laundry area over here and some additional storage and a small bike. I thought that bike was really cute because these people have an infant, so maybe they already have this bike. Maybe they got it from a family member and it's just sitting there waiting for their kid to basically grow into. I thought that would be cute. And then through this sliding door, you enter into the kitchen space, which is, I feel like, the space where they hang out the most. Maybe they really like to cook and just hang out in the kitchen here. So they have a more spacious kitchen here and a dining table. There is a small TV in here as well, and some storage underneath this staircase, and then a door leading out to the backyard. Then going upstairs, this is where they have their living room space. So no TV in here, and it feels nice and a little bit on the minimalistic side of things, which is what I really like about it. So they have their couch and a nice area for the infant to play as well. Some more storage over here, and I really like this setup with some clutter and some plants. Out front, they have their balcony with a two-seater dining table and the flower from Batu. I'm so sorry, but it's just so pretty with the purple and the yellow. Such a pretty combination. Then over here, we have the parents' bedroom, which is again really small and cramped, but it does fit a double bed and a dresser. And then they actually have a sliding door onto this pretty spacious balcony, which is really nice. I put a couch here, a little hangout area, and also a yoga mat, which is a nice activity. And next to the parents' room is the infant's room, which is really small, but it does fit everything. We have a crib, a changing table, a blarfy, an area for the kid to play a little bit. You could just put some toys on the floor here, and a bookcase as well. And of course, last but not least, the very tiny bathroom. So this is really small. Like I said, not ideal because there's no tub, but there is a walk-in shower and of course a toilet, a sink, and also a potty for the little one. But that is basically it for these apartments. So these two modern apartments are up on the gallery as a residential rental with 2 units total. And I built it on a 20 by 20 in the world of Tomarang. So if you want to place it in your game, then that is where it goes. But that's going to do it for today's video. So I really hope that you enjoyed this one. You can obviously go ahead and download it off the gallery. Like I just showed you, my username on the gallery is Simmary Sims. You can also follow me on Instagram, Threads, and on TikTok if you'd like. My username on there is Simmary Sims as well. If you're not subscribed to my channel, feel free to do so. And if you would like to get notified of every single time I upload a video, just click that little bell icon and you should be fine. I also live stream over on Twitch a few times a week. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and give me a follow over on twitch.tv/Simmary Sims. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!